What if I told you that there was a stock that would be like buying Amazon, Shopify, and Square all in one purchase? Sounds pretty interesting, doesn't it? Well, that might give you a clear idea as to what Mercadolibre does as a company. But before we get too excited, there's a few things about this company that I wanted to discuss with all of you, so let's play the intro so we can get this video started. Hey everyone, thanks for joining me today. My name is Matt, and as I mentioned in the intro, today we're going to be taking a look at Mercadolibre. Apologies in advance for anything I mispronounce in this video. Just taking my best guess at how these words are pronounced. And as always though, before we get started here, I just need to say, not advice, don't take it as advice. If you need advice, speak to a financial advisor. They're around and they're able to help. This is just for your entertainment purposes only, so do not make any investment decisions based on what I say in this video. Also, I got this idea from 40 Finance, and I think it's actually a pretty good idea, so it's something that I wanted to start on my channel as well. I just can't take credit for being the one to come up with this idea. So I have this mason jar. Hopefully it'll be bigger one day. But I was thinking that maybe what I'll do throughout 2021 is for every like that one of my videos gets, I will put a nickel into this jar. And for every subscriber that I gain throughout the year, then I will put a dime into that jar. At the end of the year, once we have everything tallied up, then I would like to have this money be a donation towards a charity. If it's an insignificant really amount of money, then what I might do is just buy some like Walmart or Target gift cards and hand them out to people in need. But again, it's a way to kind of increase the engagement for my channel, but also doing it for a right cause and having a charitable donation. So if you like, subscribe, all that fun stuff, just know that you're actually going to be helping out a cause as well. I'll probably go into more detail about that in a separate video because today we have a big discussion, and that is Mercadolibre. Now, some of you may be familiar with Mercadolibre, others of you may not be. In case you're not familiar with them, they are essentially, think of like an Amazon based in Latin America. They have 5 business segments that generate them money. The 2 that catch my interest the most, however, though, are the Mercadolibre, which literally translates to free market, and that is what looks like their Amazon platform. And then they have Mercado Pago. I'm sorry, I do not know how to say that one. And that is kind of the Square portion of this. And that is like their ability to send money between people, make online purchases, and also they just introduced a point of sale system, similarly to what Square has done for small businesses, allowing them to take cards. They also have other businesses though in things like credit repair, logistics, and in advertising. But again, the 2 that catch my interest are the marketplace as well as the payment systems. One thing that I found pretty surprising about Mercadolibre as I was doing my research is their marketplace, kind of what they are built on, is not actually the most profitable segment of their business. Now, worth noting, this company is not profitable. But what generates the most amount of revenue for them is actually their payment system, which is something that I found pretty interesting. And if you're wondering how big is this company, well, over 500,000 families in Latin America depend on Mercadolibre as their source of income through the stores that they've set up, similarly to what we see people doing here in the US as well as Canada and other countries with Shopify by setting up stores, selling items. You guys know the drill of Shopify. So Mercadolibre is also a great way for families in Latin America to either have a side hustle or provide for their families. So I am going to start off by talking about the numbers here for Mercadolibre, and before we really jump into that, I need to say these numbers are terrible. In fact, they're so bad I almost didn't include them in the video for this week, but it just didn't really feel right to skip that portion of the Watch This Wednesday video, so I did include them, and we will be doing the comparison here to Amazon as well as Shopify. So let me pull that up so we can run through these together. As we can see just from the market cap, Mercadolibre is by far the smallest one of these companies. I guess you could really say Amazon is just significantly larger than both Shopify as well as Mercadolibre, but only having a $90 billion market cap for one of the fastest growing companies in Latin America is a little surprising to me. Now, I did do a little bit of research and I saw that when they went public, they didn't issue that many shares of their company, so they did maintain a lot of ownership, hence why they might have the smaller market cap. But it's just something that I found interesting and felt was worth pointing out. As I mentioned earlier, Mercadolibre is not profitable, that's why they don't have a PE ratio. But as we could both see, Amazon and Shopify are both trading at a significant premium when you look at that PE ratio. We could see Amazon is at the 91.25, and then we have Shopify at the 733.91. I forgot how ridiculous that valuation was for Shopify, but admittedly, Shopify is still one of my favorite stocks of all time. Since they're not profitable, though, we can always go off some other metrics to get an idea for their valuation, and it's not the results I was necessarily looking for when I was doing my research. The price to sales here for Mercadolibre is 27.10, which is incredibly high. Not as high as Shopify, again at 57.09, but both of those are just astronomically high. And I was actually pleasantly surprised to see that Amazon had a relatively low price to sales ratio at only 4.48. Meaning, based on that metric, that Amazon might have an area of opportunity to be trading at a little bit of a discount. As always, though, what I like to see with these companies when you're not profitable and look incredibly overvalued is how well are you growing your revenue. As we could see here, very impressive for Mercadolibre being able to grow their revenue 61.97% year over year. Something I like to see. Happy to see that as well, especially because they are doing almost double in revenue growth year over year as to what Amazon is doing. Now, I'm going to touch on that a little bit more later, but just keep that aspect in mind. Again, that Mercadolibre's revenue growth year over year is almost double what Amazon is doing. But Shopify takes the cake here, and as we can see, they have their revenue growth at 73.4%, which is, as I said, I think during my analysis of Shopify, one of the highest I've ever seen. Now for the quick ratio, better than I expected, because at least they do have a positive quick ratio, so that could help them should they need to raise money through debt funding. As we can see, they have the 1.12 for their quick ratio compared to Amazon's at 0.87, but again, Shopify takes the cake at 17.03. The reason why I did a comparison between these two companies with Mercadolibre is, as I mentioned in the intro, Mercadolibre kind of is similar to both of these companies. I just felt like it might have been a good way to understand maybe the potential future outlook for what these companies could grow to, but also kind of justifying my thought process when it comes to adding a stock like this to the portfolio, because your traditional valuation metrics don't always make sense. And sometimes you really have to understand leadership, management, direction, and opportunities to make that decision. And that's not really something any kind of ratio or number is going to answer for you. So now we'll kind of discuss what I like about Mercadolibre and what I don't like about them, and that'll include some of their opportunities as well as threats that I see for this company. To start, and as always, we always have to ask the question of, is Amazon going to be a threat to the success of this company? Now, of course, they are fighting in almost identical spaces with the way that their businesses operate. But one thing I saw that was reassuring is that Amazon is not new to the Latin American market. They've actually had a presence there for quite some time now, but have struggled taking market share away from Mercadolibre. And I believe part of this actually has to do with Mercadolibre's payment system, Mercado Pago. I don't know really how to say that one. And the reason for that is because many citizens in Latin America, or many people in Latin America, still do not have bank accounts. Now that number is starting to increase over time, but especially when these companies both were starting to enter into this market, bank accounts weren't as common as we see here in the United States. So Mercado Pago, was a solution to that. It allowed for people to purchase items online, send money to each other, basically have what they call a QR code wallet. And it allowed for people to purchase items online, again, without a bank account. As we all know, in order to purchase something online, you need to have a debit card. You can't just say, I'll pay cash when it gets here, because that's not really a reliable system. So they created a solution to that, and they utilize things like prepaid debit cards. They have electronic wallets now, which is, think of like a Square or like a Cash App kind of thing. And this really allowed for them to grow significantly as a company, because they were really focusing on a pain point for them being able to do business, something that Amazon didn't catch on to until later. I also think that this Pago system is really going to be one of their biggest opportunities. Yes, as I mentioned, it is their biggest source of revenue right now, but also with this point of sale system that they're rolling out, once retail stores actually start to open back up, once they have a physical presence again, these point of sale systems is just going to be another way for them to make money. Usually, because the way those systems work is the company makes like 0.03% or 0.03 cents off of every charge that the store makes. So again, that's just going to further help this company increase their revenue. What actually put this stock back on my radar was Amazon's earnings call. It sounds a little strange, but Amazon mentioned during their previous earnings call, maybe it was 2 earnings calls ago, I don't really remember, that they are going to start focusing heavily on Brazil, part of Latin America. And that, to me, most people I could see where they think that would be a threat to Mercadolibre, but I still see that as the big opportunity for Mercadolibre because it shows that Amazon is taking notes on what they're doing and wants to join in on this party and try to take some of that market away from Mercadolibre. So I believe personally as an investor, if a big company like Amazon, a $1 trillion company, is catching on to what you're doing and thinks that they might be able to profit off that as well, they are following in your footsteps, kind of giving you the heads up. Also, you're kind of the home court team, so you have the advantage when you're Mercadolibre. Amazon's the away team, so they might not have the same kind of loyalty or recognition that Mercadolibre already has and established for themselves, given that it's their home turf. And lastly, I still think they have a huge market opportunity in Latin America for the online retail sales. From the numbers that I saw, Latin America online retail sales is only about 5% of the total retail sales. So only 5% of their retail sales happens online. To put that in perspective, in the US, we average around 14% of our total retail sales being online. And in countries like China, they are over 20% in their online being retail sales. So 5%, now we can't make the argument. These are completely different economies, different kind of political structures, which we're not going to get into at all. And I mean, even down to different landscapes when it comes to delivering packages. So I do think Latin America is at a little bit of a disadvantage, especially considering, in the US, we don't really have like an Amazon forest to go through to deliver packages, where that is something Mercadolibre has to overcome, which makes their distribution a little bit more challenging. That said, I don't think it would be too big of a stretch to say that Mercadolibre couldn't help grow that percentage of online sales, maybe upwards of probably around 10%, so doubling what they already have. Now, I do have a threat to this company, aside from them just being incredibly overvalued, again, based on your traditional valuation methods. And the threat that I see for Mercadolibre is they seem, as they get bigger and bigger as a company, generating more and more revenue, their expenses are increasing as well. And actually, their cost of goods sold basically exceeds how much they're generating in revenue, meaning that they are selling items at a net loss. Now, this could be a temporary thing, and this might change in the future as they develop better logistics systems, which I know they're focusing heavily on, as well as just having better distribution centers. Part of the reason for the loss as well is they are trying to position themselves as a convenient solution. So faster shipping than what Amazon can provide, easier shipping than what Amazon can provide, as well as the free shipping. So I get that this could be an area of opportunity for them, and if it works, that's great. But if they are doing a lot of sales online, and if that cost of goods sold is exceeding what they're generating in revenue, that is a very quick way to find yourself in a very big financial hole. So that's something that I did not like to see, and I really want to see that change sooner rather than later, of course, because again, this could happen at an exponential rate, which might put them out of business faster than we could tell. So for this stock, I really like this stock, and it's a stock the Motley Fool has been talking about for years, and it's one that I've watched at like $200 a share, then $300, then $400, and now it's upwards of over $1,800 a share. I believe it might be at like $1,790 or something along those lines. So this stock has had an incredible growth record. Now, we don't buy into stocks, or I don't buy into stocks based on their history of growth, but I do buy into stocks based on their opportunity. As I mentioned, they are the leader in Latin America. One other thing I didn't mention either is it's not as easy to start your own business in Latin America, and I believe there's a lot more barriers to entry and hurdles that you'll have to overcome. So it's not very easy for competitors to start sweeping into this territory and taking more market share. Obviously, Amazon's already established there, so they've already gotten that figured out. But I don't think we'll start to see a trickle in of other companies like this, like an Alibaba trying to take over the Latin American markets either. So I think that's going to be a huge plus for them since they don't have to worry about as many people coming into their territory. So for this one, I am going to add it to the portfolio because I actually already did earlier this week. But I want to say that this is one, again, not advice. We don't make advice recommendations here at all. But it is one that I would say maybe to add to a watch list as opposed to going and buying today, because we just don't know, or I believe it doesn't have as clear of a future as some other companies like Shopify does. So I think it's absolutely an exciting company with a huge opportunity there, but it's also a very risky stock to be purchasing into. So maybe one that you'll just watch, and when the time is right for you to purchase it, maybe that'll be better than just buying it because I talked about it during this video. So let me pull up the portfolio and I'll be right back with you. All right, so taking a look here at the portfolio. Again, I did buy this stock, what's today, Thursday? Sorry I'm late to you for Watchlist Wednesday. I bought this on Tuesday of this week, and it's made us around $252, so better than I thought. I was a little nervous about this one, as I usually am when it comes to buying stocks. But happy to see that it's positive, and we only bought 5 shares of this one, again, because it's trading around, when I bought it, like $1,800 a share, and I like to keep these investments to relatively the same initial investment, dollar-wise, so that's why I only put 5 shares into this portfolio as opposed to buying like 15 or 50 as you see me do with some of the other companies. But speaking of which, let's take a look here at some of the other companies. So CVS is doing all right for us. We're up $198. Fubo, as bad as that looks, at negative $2,000 a share, or $2,000 profit, it's headed, I guess, in the right direction. I think last week it was maybe around negative $3,000 in losses. So I don't know. It might recover, and I think once it does, I might sell out of that position entirely. Both iHack and Zscaler, I like watching these two as almost a race because I was curious to see which one would outperform. As we can see right now, Zscaler has the upper hand, a gain of $427 compared to iHack, which is up $229, so I'm happy with the direction both of those are headed in. BlackBerry, Comcast, and Smile Direct Club are all losing money for us as well, so we definitely have more losing positions in this portfolio than I did with the E-Trade portfolio. But I've also noticed when I started this, we've entered into times significantly more volatile. So I guess that's what I should expect with this portfolio. Pinterest is almost at $1,000 gain. So we are getting so close to having that one be a pretty big gainer for us. DR Horton, again, a little confused about that one, why it's down. That one just seems to be all over the place, though, so I'm going to stop worrying about that one and just let it do its thing. But then I love finishing off strong. I don't know why these 3 are always ordered this way, but it works out very well, so I'm not going to complain about it. We have Etsy up $3,500, which is incredible. We have ArtQ up over $2,000 now, and then to bring it home, we have ChargePoint up over $4,000. So those 3 positions are definitely helping to offset the losses that we have from Fubo, as well as some of the other positions in this portfolio. And I mean, overall, we're still up $8,000 in this portfolio. So nothing that'll make you rich overnight, but we're certainly taking steps in the right direction. I almost completely said that wrong. So that is my video for Mercadolibre. Again, a little bit different of a company than what I typically like to invest in, but I've realized throughout the series that I've always tended to play it a little bit safer than what I'd actually like to do, and I think the returns have shown that. So I am starting to take a little bit more risk in this portfolio, hopefully as better buying opportunities present themselves. So I hope you liked this video. If you did, remember, if you like it, I'm going to donate some change to my little jar, and if you haven't subscribed already, I will donate some change to that as well. I'll post a screenshot of how many subscribers I have now just so we can keep track of that, because it's going to start from this video. So you'll see how many subscribers I have, then we'll just kind of track that at the end of the year. But hope you like this video. Like it again, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Leave a comment if you have any questions for me. I'm going to wrap up here, though, because I'm not sure what else I could say, and this video is longer than I thought it would be. So thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. You could be anywhere in the world, and you're right here with me, and I really appreciate that. But I'm going to let you go ahead, enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you next time.